All right, our last game on the schedule, we have Colorado State on the road at Wyoming. Kelly, I was disappointed. I was promised a snow game in Colorado State Air Force, and we did not get that snow game. It looked actually kind of like when Maction fired up the other night, and there was no snow. They had shoveled it all off the field. Anyway, Wyoming, a 7-point home favorite in this one. The over-under set at just 42 points. This game kicks off Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Kelly, we're gonna do a little bit of a history lesson. Those that have listened to us know I love college football lore. I love college football history, and if it doesn't have anything to do with betting, you can go ahead and scrub forward if you're not interested. But I love this kind of stuff. This is a big-time rivalry game. It is the Border War. How did they secure that name besides anybody else? They play for the Bronze Boot. Wyoming has 50 wins over Colorado State. That is more wins than they have against any other team in the country. And this is the 115th edition of the Border War. Their first meeting came back in 1899, where Colorado Agricultural is the name of the school. Then they won via a forfeit. That is the way that this kicked off. But it was under interesting circumstances because of a disagreement between referees or officials from the two schools, and the refs used to be provided by the schools, which is hilarious by my estimation. Now, Wyoming said, nope. We're not playing this game. Colorado State, you're cheating. Your official isn't being fair. And then Colorado State started to walk off the field, and as they did, Wyoming ran in a touchdown. Colorado State later demanded a written apology from Wyoming. Not clear if they got one, but they played ever since. I think that is an awesome start to this rivalry. I went down such a rabbit hole to find all this stuff. So there you go. Also, one more useless dumb fact before we actually get into the breaking down of this game. This is the third tallest combination of schools that we can have in the FBS. Wyoming, of course, highest elevation in FBS, and they're hosting. Colorado State is fourth. So if you're looking at a elevation thing, there's no elevation advantage for Wyoming in this one. Okay. It's going to be windy. Sustained winds over 20 miles an hour. Those that are familiar with Laramie, Wyoming, that's not surprising. They're going to be higher gusts, but the wind is looking like it's going to die down in the second half. So I'm either looking at first half under, which I can only see 20.5. I don't love that because it is under the 21. Or maybe a second half over if you can live bet that at halftime. If the wind was really affecting the game in the first half, if it wasn't, careful. But if it was, keep an eye on the forecast, see if it's dying down. Maybe a play to the over in the second half live might be the way to go here. Wyoming individually, what the heck happened last week? 125 yards from scrimmage. Whoops, I know Boise State is decent, but they're not playing all that well. They're only 4-4. 125 yards from scrimmage is unacceptable. 23% success rate, one explosive play. That is a bad offensive outing for the Cowboys. A loss for Colorado State here gives them absolutely no error in their final three games. They have San Diego State, Nevada, and at Hawaii. Games 9, 10, and 11 in a row for them. That's worrisome. And actually so much worrisome that even in game 8 in a row, I worry about Colorado State just flat out running out of gas, both in this game and just in general. They had a couple of shootouts with Colorado, of course, emotionally charged game. They had a shootout with Middle Tennessee. They blew a 17-0 first quarter lead against Utah State, had a Hail Mary against Boise State, and then they've lost their last two. Their bye week was in week 2. Whoever scheduled that one, Colorado State didn't play in week 0. Whoever scheduled that week 2 bye, not great, guys. The two questions that I have, though, just in general for this game, does Wyoming have anybody that can defend receiver Torrey Horton, one of the best receivers in the entire country? And does Colorado State have anyone besides Torrey Horton to go to should Wyoming find a counter?
I don't have answers to those two questions, Brett. We're going to find out during the game, but I do have comments to your opening remarks, which, by the way, I absolutely love the college football history and what you're bringing to the table in that regard. For me, okay, I hear border war. I think Kansas, Missouri. Like, that's where my head goes.
Same thing. Yeah.
And I know they tried to change the name to that to Border Showdown or something, and it's like trying to change the Red River Shootout. Like, just don't. It's the Border War. I get it. Let's roll with it. And then you said the Bronze Boot. That got me thinking. I go, wait a minute. Arkansas LSU plays for a boot. That is the battle for the Golden Boot. As I looked it up here, I knew the trophy was a boot. I couldn't remember what it was called. The Golden Boot. So we've got a couple Border Wars. We've got a couple boots. I did not know that Colorado State and Wyoming were in this category, but I absolutely love it, Brett. That's why I love talking to you. You bring the history, and it's great. This game has a watchability score of 4.2, so maybe not on the same level as these other ones we've talked about on this episode. I have Wyoming -9. It's a 74% win expectancy for the Cowboys. At 2-2 in conference play, Wyoming still has a shot at the Mountain West championship game, but they'll likely need to win out because they've already lost a tiebreaker to both Air Force and Boise State. With the number 90 offense and a season worst number 75 defense, my numbers give Wyoming the edge on both sides of the ball in this one. Plus, it's in Laramie, which, as you mentioned, is good home field advantage. Cowboys are 5-0 at home this season, including a really good win to open the year. So the model has been dialed in on Colorado State this season. The Rams had a 35% chance to go bowling in the preseason. It's now 39%. An upset win here could be huge to avoiding the pressure of needing to finish 3-0 to reach that 6-win mark. Bottom line, I have Wyoming -9, 26% chance that Colorado State wins in Laramie, something no visiting team has been able to do in 2023, Brett.
I had to look it up just because, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of similarities in this rivalry to other ones. Kansas, Missouri does get the nod for Border War. They did start first in 1891, but they do predate, Colorado State, Wyoming predates LSU, Arkansas by 2 years.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Bronze boots theirs. Who stole it from who? Probably neither, because I don't know if they were aware of each other's rivalries at that point in time. Home field advantage. Colorado State running out of gas. That worries me. It's probably Wyoming at -7 or better for me in this game at home, even with the low total. Wheels have to fall off eventually. We see it all the time with these teams that play 11 games in a row, so I do worry about that.